What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Tech Talks. It's your man, Carlo Moore. We're back with another great person to interview, Maggie. Maggie, how are you today?
Hi, Carlo. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Thanks for asking. Maggie, I'm so glad you're here with us today on this next episode of Tech Talks. Walk me through your tech journey. Who is Maggie? How long have you been with Red Ventures? Give me all the details.
Yes. So I am a Golden Door alum. I went to NC State for college, graduated in 2018. I got the Golden Door Scholarship my second semester of my junior year. At that point in my life, I was a math major and I already had some sort of interest in computer science at that point, but I didn't have enough money to double major or anything. I was kind of just like pulling what I had together. And I, at that point, was just a math major. I got Golden Door, like I mentioned, the second semester of my junior year. And once I got Golden Door, I had a bit more leeway on the classes that I could take. I knew when I was going to graduate, and I knew that I could pick up more classes because Golden Door would help me out with that. And so I picked up a computer programming minor, is what it's called at NC State, and picked that up. And then the summer before my senior year, my Golden Door mentor reached out to me and he was like, "What are you doing for the summer?" And I was like, "I'm going to work at the coffee shop that I always work at. What do you mean?" And he was like, "No, you should probably do an internship. Come to Red Ventures and we'll give you an internship here at Red Ventures." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds fun." I ended up getting an internship at Red Ventures through working with the Road to Hire program. So what I did was I worked with the Tech Academy. I went through the curriculum, which is, for those of you who don't know, Road to Hire was it's essentially a 6-month boot camp teaching people how to code. So at that point, I didn't have that much knowledge on coding either because I had just picked up the minor. So for me, it was a matter of learning how to code and then helping out with the curriculum and building the practice exams and projects for the students. So that was really fun. I ended up learning a bunch of front-end code, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then I went back to college after the summer ended, finished up my senior year, and then I applied to Red Ventures as an engineer. When I applied to Red Ventures as an engineer, they were like, "Cool, you have the job, you're good. However, I know you applied as an engineer. We need someone actually to help us teach this next Road to Hire cohort coming up." And I was like, "Okay, sure. I mean, I guess I interned here last year doing that, so I'll be fine. I'll pick it up." I picked it up. Very difficult because, again, I was teaching to the students a lot of the languages that I at that point hadn't learned because NC State didn't teach me that kind of stuff. They didn't teach me front end. They didn't teach me React or anything. So I had to learn how to code. A week before, I would teach the students, and then I would come in, give them the lectures, help them out, and then after that, my students graduated. Thankfully, they did great. They were amazing. They graduated, got placed on their own teams. And once they started doing that, I started transferring onto my engineering position. So I've been working as an engineer now for about a year and a half, but I've been working at Red Ventures total for 2 years, the 6 months working at Road to Hire.
That's awesome, Maggie. What an incredible journey to be able not only to pay it forward and to the next generation who's learning tech, but then also the fact that you had to teach yourself these things in order for you to feel confident enough to be in the classroom and teach others. I think it's awesome. So when did you know, Maggie, hey, I wanted to go into the tech field? When did you know that you wanted to pursue and how did you come to that decision?
Yeah, it was really interesting. So when I graduated high school, my favorite subject was math. And everyone knows that if you're a math major, or I'm sorry, if you love math, you are going to become an engineer, right? That's what everyone tells you. You're good at math, you're going to become an engineer. So I said, okay, I'm going to become an engineer. What kind of engineering? No clue. I had no idea what engineering types there were. I didn't know what mechanical was. I didn't know any of that. So I originally applied to NC State off of high school to their engineering college, but I didn't know what kind of engineering. And then I figured out that I didn't have enough money to go to NC State at that point. So what I did was I went to community college for my first 2 years. And the first day I stepped foot into my community college at the time, and they asked me, "What's your major?" And I looked at the paper and I said, "I guess I don't know what kind of engineering, so I guess I should just sign up for math because that's really what I like. The reason why I want engineering is math." So I was like, you know what? I'm going to become a math major. I had no clue what that entailed, no idea. But I signed up to be a math major. And in community college, the one that I went to, as a math major, you have to take a couple of computer programming classes. And so I took two like intro to computer programming classes at that point. It was like super simple. At the first one was like fake coding. So it was teaching you how to think like a programmer without actually programming.
Wow.
And then the second class was actually like introduction to Java. And I took those and they ended up being my favorite classes. I became a huge nerd and would come home and look forward to doing my homework, which is crazy. I don't think that's a thing, but I was into that.
Awesome.
I would love to do the projects and stuff. And so at that point, after those two classes, I knew that I liked programming. However, my community college didn't have that many programming classes, so I didn't switch majors. I stuck with the math. And so that still always that stayed in the back of my head of, I like programming. How do I do this? But I don't have enough money to pick up any other programming classes. I'm just going to stick with math. So I stuck with math the entire time until, like I mentioned before, I got Golden Door. Once I got Golden Door, I was like, oh, now I have the resources to pick up some programming classes.
Right.
It's too late for me to pick up a double major. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick up a minor.
And really quickly, Maggie, can you walk us through really quickly what Golden Door Scholars is?
Yes. So Golden Door Scholars it's a nonprofit that Red Venture sponsors, one of the many. And they essentially give full ride tuition to their partner schools to these documented or now recently undocumented people across the country. So at that point, I'm a DACA student, I'm a DACA recipient. So I was able to get Golden Door, and they, at that once I got the scholarship, they covered for the rest of my tuition. Now, normally you get to go to the partner schools. I was already at NC State, so they kept me at NC State for that time being, but it is a resource. It's the reason why I was able to graduate college. Without Golden Door, I wouldn't have had the money to actually graduate college. Awesome. But the beauty of Golden Door is that they're really closely tied to Red Venture. So they give you a lot of connections to Red Venture's employees. They give you a lot of the Red Venture's resources, which is why I was able to easily get an internship at Red Ventures. And that's what got my foot in the door to where I am today.
I think that's awesome. Is able to see, through this program, so many different pathways that you can choose, which I think is absolutely incredible. Maggie, one more question for you, and I would like to call this the golden question. Look back to when you were in high school, when you were 17, 18, you didn't know what you wanted to do, whether you wanted to pick engineering or be a math major. Knowing what you know now about the tech field, knowing all the wisdom and knowledge that you have now, what advice would you give to your younger self then?
It's a great question, Carlo. My advice at that point would be that everyone's journey towards their goals and their dreams are very vastly different. There's really no one right way to get to where you want to be. And so I would tell myself that it's okay to take the path less traveled and honestly own it. Because when I was in high school, I was heartbroken that I couldn't go to NC State directly out of high school. I was heartbroken that I had to go to community college. I was heartbroken that I didn't have the resources to continue college the way that I wanted to. Thankfully, I was able to get the resources near the end there that got me through. However, I now realize that the reason that I am the way that I am today is because of the struggles that I went through. So it is so okay to go through these struggles, especially in the tech industry, because I work with so many people in the tech industry that didn't even graduate college. They didn't go to college. They just went through a boot camp or taught themselves. And that's so normal. And so had I known that, maybe I wouldn't even have chosen to go to college. Maybe I would have done a boot camp, so there's just so many different paths to get to where you are. I was not aware of at that time. I was so used to saying, I'm graduating college, I have to go to an accredited 4-year university to get to where I want to be. But that's not the case. And it's okay to say, I can't get there this way. How about taking this other path that people normally sometimes look down on, and they don't know what that means. So it's okay to struggle and to go there, but at the end of the day, it's all going to be worth it.
Maggie, I could not have said it better. That was absolutely incredible. And I totally 100% agree with you. There's so many different avenues that you can choose to be successful. I'm just grateful for organizations like Road to Hire that your hard work will be met with that opportunity. Maggie, thank you so much for taking time out to speak with me today. This was another amazing episode of Tech Talks. Do you have any last words that you want to say to the crowd?
I would say keep doing what you guys are doing, and reach out if you ever need any help. You guys are not alone. You're never alone.
Awesome. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, everyone, for watching another episode of Tech Talks. It's Carlo. I'm signing out. See you next time.